Hello there you guys, and welcome to this little holiday tutorial on the viola. Today we're going to be looking at one of my favorite songs for the holidays. It's called Masters in the Hall, and I'm so tempted to do a little harp tutorial on this one. There may be a harp tutorial that comes out because I really love this one on the harp. It's like the perfect one to learn little fingerings on the harp. But this is the viola tutorial, so I have linked below for you either on Patreon with your post today for the lesson today, or on YouTube in the YouTube description. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're just watching it later. Thank you so much for being here, whether you're on Patreon or YouTube. And you'll see that the link actually takes you to the blessed 8 notes, which I would recommend getting a membership at. But it's actually linking to the violin music, even though we're on the viola. And the reason why it's on the violin is because I'm taking advantage of these kind of simple little tunes to help us violists learn the treble clef, because on the viola we have to not only be able to read alto clef, but also treble clef, which is what the violin reads. So there is an accompanying picture for you guys, which is on the screen at the moment, which is showing you the staff in treble clef. So in red, you're going to see the notes of the G string. Here's our G string. In blue, you're going to see the notes in the D string, on the D string. And in green, you're going to see the notes of the A string. Okay, so I've also, if you're on Patreon, attached a little picture, courtesy of 8 Notes. Thank you so much, 8 Notes, for letting me do this. I've attached a little picture with some fingerings, and the fingerings are color coordinated. So if it's on the G string, it's going to be red. If it's on the D string, it's going to be blue. And if it's on the A string, it's going to be green. But I know that some of us don't have the picture that I'm talking about with my fingerings, and so we're going to go through it verbally. But I want to just play this song for you first. So here we go. Back to the beginning, just over and over and over. But so let's just jump in. Let's just first of all get our bearings. So when we're getting used to a new clef, it's really helpful to know what the open strings look like. So on the screen at the moment, let's make sure we're looking at the staff that I've gotten laid out here, and take a look at what the G string looks like. It's 2 ledger lines. It's the very lowest note that we have. 2 ledger lines down, and it's below that bottom ledger line. So if you've got your instrument too, why don't you just pluck or play the G string and try and memorize what that note looks like. Next up is the D string. So let's try and memorize what this one looks like. The D string on treble clef is under that first line. It's right underneath it. It's a space note. And on the A string, we've got 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4 for counting from the bottom. We should always count from the bottom, because think of a tree, roots to leaves. You got to start at the bottom. So we've got 4 spaces, and we have 5 lines. So the A string is on the 2nd space from the bottom. All right, so if we can memorize those open strings, this will be so much easier. The other thing we're going to do before we jump in is get the hand patterns for the strings that we're going to be on. So we're going to get the hand patterns from the key signature, and if you look at the music, you'll see at the very beginning of each line we have 2 sharps. And we've talked about it before, but it's really helpful to memorize the order of the sharps. If we know the order of the sharps, it also helps us figure out what the major scale is, because whatever the last sharp is, you find a half step above that, and that's the major scale. So for example, we have Father Charlie here. We've got 2 sharps. The order of the sharps is Father Charlie goes down and eats breakfast. Okay, I'll try and quiz you in a minute. So Father Charlie, what's a half step higher than C sharp? What comes after C sharp? What's the next possible note? C sharp, D, so D major, a little side note. So the order of the sharps is Father Charlie goes down and eats breakfast. Okay, so on the G string, we're not going to be on the C string at all. So on the G string, we've got G, A, B, C sharp. So this is C right here, but C sharp is a whole step away. And then if you wanted to use your fourth finger, D. So this is going to be this extended third hand pattern on the G string. On the D string, we have D, E, this is F, F sharp is a whole step away, G, and A. So this is our just regular, easy, basic hand pattern. It's exactly the same as the G string, except on the G string, your third finger is with the fourth finger. So this is extended third on the G string. On the D string, we've got the basic hand pattern, and let's do the A string, last one. A, B, C sharp, so a whole step away, D, and E. So we've got two hand patterns for this song. On the G string, extended third, walk it out with me if you can. And then on the D string, we've got the basic hand pattern with 2 and 3 together, and then the A string as well in the basic hand pattern. Okay, so one more time through all of the notes together. Starting on the G string, we have G, A, let's be in tune. G, A, B, C sharp, D, same as open D, E, F sharp, G, A, same as open A, B, C sharp, D, and E. Okay, so remember the hand patterns. What are the order of the sharps again? Father Charlie goes down and eats breakfast. Okay, so let's look at the first measure that we're playing. And it starts with a really low note. If you've got a pencil there, I would put a 2 on that note. And if we look at the picture that's on the screen still of the staff, can you figure out what string we're on? What string is that starting note on? It's really low. Can it be on the D string, or does it have to be on the G string? Take a look at those notes on the G string. It's on the G string, isn't it? So that's your second finger on the G string. So let's put our second finger down there. And then the next note, let's figure out that one. This is on what string? The second note. What string is that one on? Is that one on the G string still, or did we have to change strings? Take a look at the picture. Let's look at the D string range. That's everything that's in blue. And you can see that the second note is your second finger on the D string. Okay? And if you remember our hand pattern, extended third on the G, basic on the D, basic on the A. Okay, so here's the first measure. B, F sharp, and then what's this note? It's E. Okay, let's continue. So here's the second measure. The second measure starts on open D, so you can put a blue 0 on that one because we're on the D string for this one. So D, E, F sharp, E, D. Now this note is a C sharp. It's underneath the D string. So it's your third finger on the G string. And remember the hand pattern C sharp here? D, C sharp, B, A, and then second line, this should look familiar. So measure 9 here. What's this note here? It's on the G string, it's B, second finger, F sharp, E, next measure is D, E, F sharp, E, D, C sharp, B. So I'm going to play you this from the beginning. this little section, and then we'll look at the next part. Okay, so this is in 6/8. We haven't talked about the time signature yet, but 6/8 means that there are 6 of something in every measure. The 8 are eighth notes. There's 6 eighth notes in every measure. So we need to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And inevitably in 6/8, we tend to group things in twos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when you're in 6/8, just pretend you're walking. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we need to figure out how to count it so that we know how long to hold quarter notes for and how long to hold eighth notes for and any other rhythms that we encounter. So in the first measure, we have a quarter note, which has 2 eighth notes in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the time signature doesn't tell you how fast to count. It just tells you how many to count and what your beat is equal to. So there's 6 eighth notes in every measure. So there is a little thing at the top that says steady march, a dotted quarter note equals 100. So let's just see what that is. I'm going to put my metronome on 100 here. Here's 100. Now this is equal to a dotted quarter note. So we need to count to 3 within each click. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because there's 3 eighth notes in a dotted quarter note. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So actually, this is supposed to be quite fast. Here's that first part again, and then we're going to look at the second part. 1, 2. All right, so let's take a look at this next section. So if you look at line 2, you're going to see an F for forte at the end in that last measure. Forte is loud and strong. So this is technically measure 13. And let's start with our third finger on this note. If you look at the picture, once again, of the staff, let's see what string this note is on. Is it on the A string, which is in green? Is it on the D string, which is in blue? Or is it on the G string, which is in red? So this starting note is actually on the A string, and it's on the 4th line. Remember, we're going to count up from the bottom. There's 5 lines, 4 spaces. Oh no, there goes my little clip. I knew that was going to fall out. I was trying to be extra glam for you guys today. Let me pop that back in. It'll fall out again, but okay, so this is on the 4th line, which means that it's the note D. So that's your third finger A, B, C sharp, D on the A string. D, C sharp, B, A, B. We got to cross strings. What string is this one on? This one is in blue. This is on the D string. This is your second finger F sharp. Back up to the A string, third finger D. Once again, if you've got some color coordination colors, I would be putting, this note that we're on here, this third finger, in a green because we're on the A string. That way it's color coordinated for you. So a green 3 there, D, C sharp, B, A, B, F sharp. This is an A. I could do 4th finger A or I could do open A. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to do my 4th finger A because the next note is still on the D string. So that avoids a little string crossing for me. So F sharp, A, G, E, F sharp, C sharp. This is on the G string. And once again, I'm going to use 4th finger because the next note after that is still on the G string. So D, B. Now I'm going to cross to open D because the next note is on the D string, and that's helpful. So here is line 3. This is measure 14. Just to review, measure 14, B, F sharp, D, C sharp, B, A, B, F sharp, A, G, E, F sharp, C sharp, D, B, D, E. Continuing onwards, F sharp, A sharp. When you sharp something, you're raising it in pitch a half step. So A sharp has to be on the A string because it's going to be higher than A, and it's just a half step higher. So here's A. A half step sounds like Jaws. So it's not, or. So that's where the A sharp is, starting from measure 19 once more, F sharp, A sharp, and then just slide your first finger up a half step. Half step isn't, once again, Jaws. A sharp to B, F sharp, A sharp, B, D, C sharp, B, A, B, F sharp, D, C sharp, B, A, B, F sharp, A, and once again I'm using my fourth finger because the next note is still on the D string, so that avoids the string crossing. Measure 24, B, F sharp, A, G, E, F sharp, C sharp. Are we going to use fourth finger for the next note? Or the open D? Let's use fourth finger because the next note is still on the G string. So D, B, D, E, F sharp, E, D, C sharp, B. Now if you're struggling with any of those tricky little string crossings from open D to C sharp, you see how in the air when I play my open D string, my fingers are not hanging out back here. They're actually ready to go. And I put them down, not by themselves, because they're a team. All right, so that is the Masters in the Hall. Now there is piano music that comes along with this, and that's one of the reasons I love 8 Notes so much, is that they like take care of you completely. They have all of the arrangements that you could possibly want as well, and it comes along with piano music. So befriend a pianist and play some holiday tunes. This one is just magical. I'm going to play it one more time for you, and then we'll call it a day. So I'm going to put the metronome on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that you learned something. What's the order of the sharps? Father Charlie goes down and eats breakfast. What about the time signature? The time signature is 6/8, which means that there are 6 of something in every measure. We're going to count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all 8th notes. And that tells you how long to hold a quarter note for, right? A quarter note has 2 8th notes in it. A dotted quarter note has 3 8th notes in it. It doesn't tell you how fast to go, and so that's why I put the metronome at 100. We've got dotted quarter note equals 100. And since it's a dotted quarter note, I got to count to 3 to find the 8th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So with that, I will see you all very soon. Thank you so much for being here. Happy holidays. Happy practicing. Please go check out Patreon. It's linked below for you on YouTube, and for those of you on Patreon, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's class and you can get a head start on all of these holiday tunes. and I'll see you all very soon.